Okay, I'm going to try to do this video short and sweet. So this week you're going to need your book, you're going to need some tape. I would prefer to use the washi tape, but I couldn't find the end of the washing tape that I wanted to use, so that was kind of a bust for me. So I'm using some drafting tape and stuff and just putting it over the edge and making sure I'm sealing it fine. And you can use your white tape to do that too, or your blues painter's tape or whatever tape you want. It's not going to be on there very long, so don't worry about it sticking too much. You're also going to need 2 pieces of computer paper, your pastels. My pastels are different than your pastels. I have a set of your pastels, but I don't know where they are at the moment. You're going to need your watercolors. You're going to need some water. You're going to need a brush. You can use the brush that's in your thing here, or you can use the water brush. You fill this up with water, and then your brush is persistently wet. I also have clips that I'm using to kind of hold my pages down and stuff. Water, and then I have my spray bottle so I can mist my watercolors. Okay, so here I'm gonna mist my watercolors here, get them all going and primed up before I have to use them. Okay, so this is going to be a 2-part process. So first we're going to do a watercolor background on both of these pieces here. Okay, and it can be any color you want, any opaqueness you want, whatever. So I'm going to do that really quick. Okay, this is my brush bag. Sorry, I'm using a different program today. And it's just, I made this out of a, like a placemat. And I flipped up one edge and sewed it around here, and then sewed little pockets and stuff to hold all my brushes. And then that way I can just flip it over and roll it up. And I put binding on the edge. I did that a long time ago. I'm going to pick a big brush to do it because we're filling a big space. And now I got to switch hands, so hold on. Ooh, I think I did that without stopping the clip. All right, so I'm going to start with water on my page here because I don't want a lot of opacity for what I'm going to be doing. So I'm just kind of rubbing water all over it. And I'm going to choose kind of a, I don't know what color I want. I'm going to choose kind of a blue color here. Okay, and I'm just going to kind of fill it with the water. Probably really need to spray more water on the blue paint here. This is really hard to do, looking through the camera and trying to paint at the same time. Okay. But I just want kind of like a really nice background. So let me finish that and I'll come back. Okay, so I started out on the last video using the light blue, and I decided I didn't like it, so I switched to the darker blue, which is the cobalt, and then I did the cyan kind of in the bottom where they mixed, kind of made this kind of purpley color. So what you're going to do is you're going to let this dry, okay? And then once it's dry, you're going to peel off the tape. Okay, you don't want the tape on there. So we're going to set that aside. And now we're done with your watercolors. So now, with your 2 pieces of copier paper, you're going to use pastels. This one up here is your first one is going to be reds, oranges, maybe some yellows, some peach, maybe some violet. And your bottom one is going to be greens, yellows, maybe a little brown. I don't know. So I'm going to start with some orange. And oil pastels are kind of weird to work with. Okay. And definitely weird to work on with just one hand and not something supporting the paper and stuff. But you can take them and you can blend them with your finger. And for some of you, you may not like how that feels. I don't like how it feels, so I'm not going to do it. Okay. But I'm just going to fill my whole paper here with color. I can overlap my camera holding hands hard. I can overlap my stuff here if I want to. Okay. but I just want big sections of color, okay, to choose from. Okay, so I went ahead and did kind of just part of this. My oil pastels are very different from your oil pastels. So your oil pastels are oil-based, and they are exactly the same. That you can blend them with your finger, with a blending stump, with an eraser, your fingers, with a cotton ball. You can put a little bit of alcohol on your cotton ball and and rub it and blend it. My oil pastels are water-soluble pastels. And those are very different in the fact that I can take my wet brush, okay, and I can pick up the pastel and blend it, okay, with other colors. Okay, these are very cool to work with. They're not incredibly temperamental. Like I said, they're water soluble, so they just do different things. Okay, yours will not do this because they're not water soluble. Okay, so it just gives you a different look. You are, when you use oil pastels, going to get these little chunky bits. You can just pick them up. And then once you've gotten your pages done, if you have any aerosol hairspray, go ahead and spray your paper with the aerosol hairspray. That is going to lock that oil pastel onto your paper so that it doesn't smudge as easily. It'll still smudge a little, but it won't smudge as easily. So those are the two things you're going to do today. You're going to do your watercolor, okay, on the 2 pages with the tape border, and then you're going to do reds, yellows, purples, pinks, and then green base, maybe some browns or whatever on the bottom, second sheet. Okay, that's what we're doing today.